Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Alexey, and today I have a special guests, Sławek and Wojtek Wiesławski. Sławek and Wojtek are metal sound engineers and founders of Hertz Studio in Poland. They have been working with such great metal bands as Decapitated, Behemoth, Vader, and many more. It's a huge honor to have you on my YouTube channel today. And let's start our interview. My first question is how you became a sound engineer.
You want to start, Wojtek?
Oh, okay. So it starts from playing with the bands. We were musicians. We're still playing, more or less, yes. And after the simple playing, there was always question how to record it, yes. So all became first steps was actually because Sławek left the Poland and stay in USA, and after a while I joined him. So he started rehearsal room, yes, and then simply everything involved. When you have rehearsal room, then you can start, for example, record, yes. You want to start record, yes. And I think for me, normal, regular process, yes, every step, each one by each one.
Yes, I think start from loving music, and then making band like Wojtek said. They try to capture. There was no equipment, so we bought 1, 2, 3 microphones. Then we get some knowledge. We bought a small console, analog console. We bought tape, 1-inch tape recorder, and then we realized we need a toilet. So we built the toilet, and then we realized, oh man, this is a great place to rehearsal. And some other bands came here to our place. Can we rent this place to rehearse? We say yes. And then can you record us? We say no problem. Because we have a microphones, and then we're starting up. It's very beginning, so a very natural way.
And a long process.
Yes.
Because right now it's time is changing. You can grab the tools, download from the internet. But in the past there was most was analog, so it wasn't so easy, and it was way more expensive than now, yes.
And there is maybe interesting. When we started call ourselves producers, we spent many years to learn about recording, and then we was decide to be producer. It means to make something interesting than even the band expect. Not only the sound, but on the visual, songs and everything.
Right now, sometimes I have feeling it's a bit opposite. People just grab the computer, open it, yes, recording sounds, and super. I am multi-instrumentalist, producer. Super. I'm okay with it. But in our case, it was completely opposite. We recorded a lot of bands before,
My next question is how you created Hertz Studios.
It's first step, we come back from the United States, and the idea was to start recording here studio in Poland. And again, it was most of the steps was we come back to our city, to Białystok, and at the beginning people say, we want to open the studio, and people were crazy. There is a small city, to open the studio. No one will record with you. But it's all about determination. We start to record the local bands. After 2 years, we record all local bands. Then people come us outside of our, our city. Then after 3 years, we recorded bands from the Poland. After 5 years, first bands from outside of the country started writing to us that if we can do something from record together. and it's like, you know, hardworking, nothing, you know, special. Yeah. Years of practice and recording.
Our Behemoth album, The Satanist, was recorded at your studio.
So before we start recording, we talk a lot. So this is a part of the process of constructing, I mean, build the album. So we talk a lot with those guys about music and vision, how it should sound, and we listen a lot of different version of the songs we did recording like as a demo, and then we agree something, the vision of the sound. I would call like a vision, right? It's a way how we should capture and what we should focus on this. And then we start the process. They book a studio, and yes, that was like a long process, but very important. It's not only a recording process, is what was before recording is also important. So make a direction. Sometimes spend losing this kind of point of view. They're thinking if they come to the studio, and you are an experienced guy, so probably the content you album could be successful, but not really. That's not true. Maybe sometimes the vision is like completely different, and then during the last tape, they being could be frustrated, you know, and you know, so we plan, we make like step by step. So Wojtek.
And actually, I think it always should be like this. And before we start recording with like the Behemoth with the Satanist, there was like even we started cooperating before this, like to. And mostly it's like with the bigger bands, like they need to, how to say, meet you personally, because spending more than 1 month in the studio with like new guys, it's like could be even stressful, yes. So you need to like to feel if it's easy to work together, if it's possible to work together. So the overall the whole recording was like pretty smooth. It's long period because it's a huge band and they can allow for way more than the other bands because of the whole tools behind them. Because for example they can test a lot of different visions of the sound of the amps, guitars. And that's the super stuff for that kind of bands, because mostly there is like a discussion with the band what we want to achieve together, yes, what kind of, I don't know, sources we have, and some kind of compromise. With some of the bands, they don't want to compromise, so it's way more better actually. And of course, it's very difficult because if you work like, for example, for a half year on the 10 songs, it's been like, imagine listen 10 songs during the half year, almost every day.
So also I can tell you, that was very nice because those guys very well prepared on the session. They know what to play and they play all of them very tight and very well. We really like, they're very easy. And from my point of view, they were surprised how we recorded smooth the vocals. There was like 1, 2, 3, like one song, like 20 minutes and done. So everything was like really smooth, but like Wojtek said, we have the chance to focus on the sound and some crazy ideas. Not only like put the microphones on the cabinet, but also put the microphones on somewhere in the room. So that was like fun for everyone.
Even, you know, just experimenting with the guitar tone, yes. Normally it's like I don't know, 2-3 hours and you are done with the sound. Yes, but if you have like possibility to like here you have like 12 guitars or 20 guitars. Here you have all the amps that you want to have on that session, and just simply find the sound. Yes, that is super cool.
Since you are working with so many death metal and black metal bands, how to create a unique sound for a band?
I think the best way, listen to those guys, and to before starting recording or producing, so listen to the guys they want the sound, and then go to right direction. For example, if drums could be natural, totally 100%, or like kick drum supposed to be triggered, or how we have to tune these drums. Maybe everything should be from the virtual drums. And then guitar sound, how fast, how low the on the tuning or not low, how they how far they from those guys' references, the music. Maybe something wrong with you know, like style or something. So and then is a progress. So always is good for us always to listen the band how they play live or and the demos, and then we start to talk with the bands how they should sound. Definitely, we don't want to something like okay, we'll do the final album, and then when those guys goes on the stage, they sound totally different, like fake, you know. So we just really care about the vision of the band and you know, like roots of the band, I would say,
and the ability of the musicians.
yes.
For example, it's also very important that I don't know if you're experienced like sound engineer, or so. For example, you know that okay, there is a band, like the whole band. For example, there is always there is a weak and strong points of that band. Yes, sometimes the vocals are great, maybe not the guitars are so super tight. Yes, so there is always dealing something. Okay, let's push on that part, like for the let's make the strong points very dominant on the mix, on the production, and hire a bit more weak points. And also like communication with the people, like for example from if you really listen the musicians, for example, for the really true black metal guy, real drums will completely means different than the gent guy who plays on the guitar. So you need to really to talk with them and try to realize what they really like it, what fits, what they vision, what their expectations. And then if you like trying to keep open the mind, it's way more easier. It's not like I have my favorite amp, and no matter what, who will come here will record on this. Yes, of course I have my favorite amp, Sławek has too, but if there is a possibility like to like capture the sound of them, we should do this. And I think that's the answer for the questions.
My next question is how Hertz Drums library was created.
You want to start, Wojtek?
It's first of all, we sampling the drums for like 20 years. Yes, it's started like in the beginning of 20s when, for example, with Decapitated. Yes, we create the samplers because we want to really achieve really tight drums. So first of all, we created the samples, then we put on the sampler, and he record on the pads and using only real cymbals. So first of all, we created for a long distance, like samples from different bands. Because, for example, there is no secret that almost every metal production that the kick drums became from the samples, because it's a clean physics. No one can play so fast with really tight, with nice attack on the kicks, yes? So there was like kick replacement, and we always have a idea, it's good to capture the kick from your kick and your snare and blend it later in the mix to achieve your sound, not like from the previous band, you know what I mean? So it keeps like those drums more unique. And of course, there is a plenty of samples for, and then we realized that we need more tools. We need more tools, more sound. That was, we meet Alex, our developer. He's also a musician. And that was a huge step for us to meet him, because I believe that without his, how to say,
Work and determination.
determination and work at the beginning, it won't happen. But this guy, almost forced to us to move forward, yes, because there is always something like another session, another band, yes, and sometimes the stuff that is supposed to be on right now, they move for later, yes, and never-ending story, yes.
Yeah, so it's basically thing. It's the difference between I think our progress, how we make the samples and everything. So, for example, like a software, we build our software how we feel we're comfortable for the other people. And second thing about the quality of the samples, it's kind of maybe it's interesting because most of the companies, I don't want to say the brands, it's not important. They simply record it at the studio for some like a huge studio, and they cut the samples and put a sampler in other places because it's a long process. And they'll listen, guys, with final result. And our workflow is a bit different, so we can record, put a software sampler, see how the sounds, and fix the sound, even record again samplers. So this is huge difference. So, for example, like our like snares and hi-hats was unlimited, really serious job. There was not like 2 weeks of the recording of samplers. There was many months to find sweet spots sometimes of the drums. We learned a lot, and I think those samplers became better and better. So that was really fun, and
The same with creating the presets.
yeah.
Actually, most of the presets was created on our sessions. So, for example, if we need like a good snare, yes, so we created good snare that it fits for that session. Then we check with another one, yes, and because we have also a lot of tracks for many years from different bands, so we can simply like switch our preset and check how it sounds with different sources. What's supposed to be changed, or it's too much process, or it's not or it's not enough. You know what I mean? So it's simply easier. Yes.
It's kind of complicated because we have to find a time and run these drums to the different project and see how it's going on. Some the presets are very presence as well, and some of them there is a sound like natural sounding drums. So it's a matter of question what guitars and what everything is a background, right? For example, if you have like a really middle range and high sounding guitars, so these drums samplers with a really compressed and high frequency presence, so they cut through the mix. And so it's like if you have like a non-process for example, like dark microphone and dark tube amp, and try to play with our samplers, you could be disappointed. So that's why you can move, presets, find a sweet spot for you. But yes, finally we check with the all these packs. We check with many bands. For example, like Behemoth also.
Can you use Hertz drums in professional production instead of real drums?
Actually, we are using it because it's a home recording era, so you can't change it, or actually there is always like few bands during the year that they record the drums at home, and or they program at home, or they record them on the e-drums, and they send the MIDI files. And actually, I think it's normal process right now. And one of the reasons to create those drums was like, okay, why I need to, for example, took this software and pay that part of to that project, this from this company, this one and this one. That's why we like try to build everything together. Yes. So, for example, if you want, you have your own samples, you can use our sample and blend it with your, favorite preset or whatever you have. Yes. And I think I was surprised actually. Last year we work with like a really huge drummer, and I was surprised that he recorded everything at home on the e-drums. Because he sent the tracks like super nice, clean, like ready to run with other instruments. And sometimes people forget that, for example, if they deliver really bad quality drums, really bad microphones, really and bad played, yes, and the expectation is be super tight and like modern. So you need to first edit those drums. You need to replace the sound. There is no chance to avoid this. And then actually you can record on in-drums, you can program it, and you can get the right tool. If you know how to program them properly, you save your time, actually.
Yes, it's like multi-out routing. So you can send each element on different outs. So we have like flexible tuning. You have like ADCR, like you can change attack and even kill room sound. You can even take dynamic and get feel, for example, very easy way to, in one knob, to ask the pro software to play a little bit softer or louder, and like many articulation, for example, like a snare. It's like something new on the market. So yeah, it's for so we create like very easy drums preset for people who don't want to touch equalization or even like multi outs routing, but is a possibility blend and for example like few different snares on a one MIDI note and really like get the sound wherever you want.
My next question is, how much time does it take you to record, mix and master an album for a metal band?
I think it always depends from the result, because in some kind of genres you can, for example, I think we record a lot of grindcore stuff in 7 days. But I think if you have like at least 10 days for the recording and the band is prepared, you can record pretty nice album. It's always, but mostly of that process, like recording stuff, it depends from the band, how they are prepared, if they like change something in the studio, yes, if they have like some kind of pre-production, because sometimes, very often actually, if there is not pre-production, first time they listen each other in very good way. So they're surprised, for example, oh, you play on the bass that note, I play something completely different, yes? And then it's became like changing some parts, which takes a time. So mostly it depends from the band. But I would say like everything from like 10 days, like recording session up like more, it's like it's giving like better results. About the mixes, I believe that it's like if we have 40% of time for the recording for the mixing, which is pretty cool. Because it's very hard to, for example, if someone spent like 1 month to record all those tracks with a lot of details, it's very difficult to mix it, for example, for 4 days. But it's someone like doing pretty fast, no complicated orchestration or additional guitars. They record in 10 days. So it's hard to say them, guys, now I'll have like 2 weeks for mixing. Yes, it's not equal. And again, we need to come back what kind of result the band want to achieve.
So it's like always different when we record in the studio, so we can prepare the right sound of the guitar and drums from the beginning. So if we have only mixes, so we have to usually spend more time on preparing the drums, preparing for reamping guitars. It's kind of harder. It's take a bit long process mixing when it's somewhere outside, but it's possible. It's like. Yeah, like what I said, it's a matter of fact, it depends of the how they want to sound at the end. They want to like old school, very live, or they want to sound really very processed. I would say both ways is kind of interesting.
How do you mix the whole album for a band? So in this case, do you mix all songs in one project, or do you mix song by song?
Yeah, actually, start. So personally, I prefer to put into the whole one project, because even to find the right sound for the drums or feel the vibe of the band, I need to listen the whole of the songs. With one song, in the past was like the band or I choose the song that is a bit different on the whole album. And it's very difficult exactly that sound later adjust to the others of the songs. So for me, works better when everything is in one project. I can, if I work on the guitars or whatever, drums, I can switch between the songs and immediately check how they fit in other songs. Of course, if when I have like rate bass stuff, like the balance between all instruments and the sound of the instruments, then I can treat like specific sounds a bit different. For example, there is the previous song was like a blast beat song, a lot of like dynamic drums, and then next one is really slow one. So probably I will change the drums because I don't need like with this really, slow drums so much attack. A bit should be like fit to the song. So like I'm trying to keep the whole balance at the beginning, like find the sweet spot to the whole album. And then if I'm sure that okay, I have this one, then I process the song a little bit different.
I think also we don't have a problem to mix like each song separately, but it's take definitely a long time. It's this, for example, compare, make mix downs, and see what's happened. Let's build from the other song from the beginning. It's a good way. We know a lot of guys they doing this way, but on our case, we always ask the band. You know, we cannot mix for you know, one song for 2 weeks. Not possible. So sometimes we'll take care of the time, and we don't want to like, especially for the bands who take care of the band money at the time spent in studio, we try to make really fast decision. So imagine, for example, you choose the snare and the ballad. You start with the ballad, and then how long? And you put like 10 compressors and different effects, different reverbs, and then how to easily put to different songs. So it's take time, and sometimes you have to double check is everything correct. So you have to mix down again and compare with the previous mix, and so it's like a long time for us. So we like really fast mixes, work done properly, but the longer, the shorter time is better for us.
Will Hertz Studios be working on a new music metal libraries like Hertz Drums?
Yes, I think we have like few signature packs that will be released this year. So far, I can tell you exact names, but the samples are recorded. Most of them are also like processed, so they will be released soon, and that for sure will be more of that stuff. Will be more MIDI libraries, audio libraries, samples will be more of.
Yes, definitely.
And for sure we also like prepare something for like special fans of the bands that we worked before, and work like for sure will be a lot of interesting stuff in the future that I can tell you right now.
Yes, this is the startup. This that was what we done before. Then this is, I think, this is only beginning, you know, of something like. We not consider it only our work, but we really appreciate all the great producers and great studio rooms and studio, and you know, so that's why those guys, different guys, they decide work with us. They really like the software too, so that's why we start to cooperate with different guys, and soon we can show to our fans, metalheads, a lot of interesting stuff.
Thank you so much for such a wonderful conversation. It's a huge honor meeting you guys, and thank you so much for all the wonderful work you do for people and for sound engineers. It's a huge pleasure talking to you.
Thank you for the opportunity, like to have that conversation. Thank you for your time. I see that you are also sound engineer, yes?
Yes.
Super. Good. So we wish you like best bands, absolutely great musicians, and easy and outstanding mixes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Super. Thank you, man.